Catherine, let's start with Carson. What did you like about him, and how does he fit within Jim Schwartz's linebacker group there?
Well, first off, hi, everyone. Good to see everybody. I mean, I have to start with Carson's journey, like off the field, even before going straight to your question, because such an impressive journey, walk on, that mentality, what he's going to bring to our program from a work ethic and leadership standpoint, I think is invaluable. On the field, you're thinking of a very versatile, athletic, instinctive player with good feel, and that's something that Jim and Coach Tarf put, premium on when it comes to versatility. It gives them pieces to interchange and attack offensive differently. So I think that's what he's going to bring. Extremely productive in his last year, and also very productive special teams player on his first 2 years as well. So really just extremely excited to bring a young man like Carson into our program.
Hey, Catherine, I know Glenn just said that, you're just trying to maximize the value of the picks, but are you surprised that the first 2 picks you made were both on defense, given what looks like a bunch of needs on offense?
No, definitely not surprised, because the way we approach the draft is obviously to get better, in the near future and long term. And when you have a player like Mason who's available and how disruptive he can be in this scheme, he's helping this football team. And I think Carson can do the same thing. Or I know Carson will do the same thing. So really it's about getting this football team better as a whole. And of course, we'll continue to add more players that are going to help on both sides of the ball. But no, I'm not surprised, because these guys were just holistically had wonderful profiles and will be really key contributors to winning football games.
You mentioned Carson's off-field stuff and journey. When you are evaluating these guys, Quinshon and even Mason, the guys to come, what's the scale of how much these guys impact you as people and the off-the-field stuff versus obviously you want them to be skilled on the field too?
I mean, I like to say we're building a team. We're not just acquiring talents. And by that, like the culture that we're trying to build, the type of people we're trying to bring here is really important. We want to play tough and competitive. We want to work hard. That's what we're about. You have to be physical and tough to play in this division. So bringing guys here that can play that brand of football is really important to us. And so far, the guys we brought are embodying this.
Catherine, with Judkins, I mean, how important is it that he produced stats-wise in the SEC and the Big Ten? And can you just talk a little bit about his running style and why that sort of violent style is appealing to you guys? Yeah,
huge. I mean, again, a physical downhill player that's going to, again, bring the physicality I just referred, but also someone that is going to be able to contribute on third down, whether that's in pass pro. He's a dependable pass catcher. So really, like, a well-rounded prospect that's going to be able to help us and play the type of football we want to play.
Hi, Catherine. Can you just talk about how Judkins will fit in maybe with Jerome, how they might complement each other, and does he remind you of anybody in the NFL, any comps that you've seen?
I think when it comes to the first part of your question, yes, there's definitely going to be a great complement here with Jerome. Both players are well-rounded, so they can both do everything, and I think that's the beauty of it. Now all of a sudden, it gives Tommy, Deuce, Kevin options in how they want to deploy and best use their skill sets. Now, his physicality, his contact balance, the way he runs with strength, is something I've seen in Nick as an example, and those are and not to say I'm not saying that this is Nick. Is just, again, what Nick means to this organization is beyond words. But what I'm saying here is this style of play is just going to fit very nicely with what we're trying to do.
Catherine, how along those lines with Quinshon, him sort of staying for an extra year after he transferred, but also splitting a backfield last year and still being as productive as he was. Just when you guys are trying to figure out a role for him and sort of picture what he looks like, how much does that unselfishness and his ability to sort of improvise and go with the flow, how much does that impact what you guys could have envisioned for him?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think playing running back by committee is something I've seen quite frequently throughout my career, whether that was in Philly when I was there, or even the way we maximize players' skill set and use them. So yes, for sure, someone who's not only done that in college, but I think again it comes back to putting this team in the best position to win. So in situations where our coaches feel that that's a good situation for Quinshon's skill set or other players we have on our roster, like I led that to them to figure out how best to use them. But most definitely, like, we're looking for team players, guys that are wanting to do what's best for this team first, and Quinshon's definitely shown that.
But you just mentioned Nick Chubb.
Yep.
So where does this leave him?
I'll say it again because it's just so important. Like, what Nick means to this organization is humongous, and it doesn't mean anything. Like, at the end of the day, like, tonight is about bringing drafted players into this organization, and very excited to welcome Quinshon, and yeah.
Catherine, how unique of an evaluation was it with Schwesinger with UCLA moving to the Big Ten this past year, but also it was kind of a coaching staff on the fly too with the late change?
Yeah, that's a very valid point. I think, of course, you look at a player who's had like tremendous production this past year, but it was that 1 year. But you look at the totality of circumstances, what happened throughout his career, what he's done before this past year, and how he's produced before, and we take all of that into consideration. But what he's done this past season is undeniable, for sure.
Is there a concern that it was only one season of production, and how do you balance that versus guys that probably did it for longer?
Yes, it's. I'm not going to say a concern, but it's definitely we weigh all information into the decision-making process. So it's really looking at the entire body of work, some of the circumstances that were there before this past year, and then really understanding also, as we got to know him through the process, like how he navigated these years and what he's done throughout his 3 years in UCLA, and ultimately we felt very comfortable with the entirety of the profile and what he's done.